the hope that Christ himself brings to man. And so, if you have not had that understanding about the rest in the entire lesson that we have had this quarter, then you need to ask yourself whether the lesson had any meaning to you or to the people that you are sharing with. We are emphasizing on the family altar to remind them about the lesson. Now, when we are talking about the ultimate rest, have you ever been so much exhausted, tired, until you wish that you could be somewhere alone? You don't want to see anybody else. You want to be alone. And when you are alone where you are not building castles. You are not thinking about the homes that you can build, the kind of cars that you can buy. But you are thinking about the purpose of your life. Why you were created and who is in control of your life. Okay? And at this particular time, is when you visualize about the importance and the significance of your Christian life. And I'm just getting this kind of summary from the memory text. Just look at the memory text, which is telling us, but as it is written, eye has not seen, nor ear heard, nor have entered into the heart of man the things which God has prepared for those who love Him. Praise God. For those who do what? Who love Him. You may not imagine, but have you ever been in that state where you are just alone and thinking, how will heaven be like? This is the situation that we see. John at Patmos is alone. He has gone through so many challenges. He has seen some of his friends being martyred. He has seen a number of things happening, but he's alone there. And at this particular time is when God reveals himself to him and brings in some kind of panoramic view about how his life is going to be. So there are 4 key things that we are going to look at the lesson now, and our panelists will take us through. But I want you to understand these 4 things. One is that the lesson is giving us the great controversy. It is trying to tell us what we are going through. And in the world today, we are having the war. Both the spiritual war and even sometimes the physical war. Okay? We are having a war between Satan and Christ. In your mind, remember that Christ has given each of us an angel who takes care of us wherever we are. But there is war in the mind. There is war that we go through. And in this war, from the introduction, we are told that there is sweetness by the end of this war. There is going to be ultimate rest. In this, it is also giving us some kind of understanding that from this war, ultimately, we must have something to rejoice about. Now, that is the first one. The second thing about signs of the end. We are going to see about this. And in discussing that, we are also going to see the marching orders, what we are supposed to do. Secondly, the third point that we are going to see in the lesson is about the 3 angels' message, which is so important to us as Adventists and as Christians in this world. The fourth thing is about rejoicing. These are the key things, and I don't want to unfold more because my colleagues are going to give us each about this discussion. But I want all of us to ask ourselves, as individuals, how are we challenged in our faith? How are we challenged in our faith? Because at the end of it, that challenge must bring an opportunity to prepare for the ultimate end. So I would like at this time to give Brother Moses a chance to give us a brief about the vision we have, and the question we want to ask there is ultimately, as we see or as we visualize the end, as life takes us through so many things that we see, shall we see a comfort at last? Please, Moses.
Thank you, my elder. And so we are looking at a vision of the end. And when we are looking at a vision of the end, we are seeing John exiled in the island of Patmos. And when we look at John, John is this beloved disciple of Jesus. Actually, he was the youngest when at that point. But now we are seeing he's the only surviving disciple, and the oldest, therefore, around 90 something thereabout. And we are seeing that a vision comes to him at this very old age. Remember, he's in an island alone. And so we are seeing that at this point, this vision is coming to him, and it is a heavy vision. It's a vision where he's able to see things happening, and ultimately we are going to see when he's seeing even when the new heaven and the new earth shall come. And so when we are looking at John, what lessons are we learning? We are able to see that at our very lowest point, then that is the time that Christ is able to come, and we are able to see what is happening. And so when we are looking at John, when we are looking at this vision at the end, we are seeing, when we were reading Revelation chapter 1, verse 9 going on, we are seeing Jesus being seen in the sanctuary, and Jesus is putting on like priestly. Is having the dress, that the robe that priest would have. And we are seeing Jesus coming in white, and so we are seeing a lot of wisdom depicted from there. And so the brightness, the glory, the power that John is able to see Christ coming with. And so when we look at this, then we are saying that at this lowest point that John is at, God is able to come in a big way and even encourage John. God is able to come in a big way and encourage John. And so when we are doing this, the lesson writer was saying that Jesus had told his follower, "Lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the age." And when we look at even to the end of the age, what about the end of the age? That in the end of the age, there will be a lot of tribulation, there will be a lot of you will have wars, things will happen. But even at that point, Jesus is saying, "I will be with you even the end of the age." And so when we look at it keenly, we are seeing that the book of Revelation, when we look at it, it shows a final triumph. A triumph of Jesus over Satan. And we are seeing that sin and sinners will be no more. We are able to see that a new heaven and a new earth will be ushered, and we will have ultimate rest. Even though now we are having a lot of challenges, but we will be able to have ultimate rest that day. And so when we look at John's vision, the vision comes, it looks a bit strong, And so even John, though, is alone, is tired, is restless, but this vision is a pointer to us that amidst our tribulation, an end will come, and the end will be joyous because we will have a new heaven and a new earth. Thank you, Maya.
Thank you, Brother Moses. When we look at that discussion, there is something that I want the congregation to be very keen about, especially in the vision. The 7 candlestands and the 7 churches. You know, they are talking about golden candlestands. And we are being asked, why golden? Why? And I'm not going to give you the answers. But there is something that was being revealed from there. John is being given a message about the churches that were around. There are 7 of them. And there is a reflection about the kind of churches God